Oh.
Let's go. I've been waiting for like 15 hours to sort of talk about this game. So we're talking
Oh,
about it.
purple rain, purple rain, purple rain.
Yes.
Talk about rain, man. Like I feel like I don't know. Is us making this podcast was it a curse on last night's game? Purple
You
rain, and
know,
then it's
the monsoon. I mean, I
the
think so.
monsoon.
I
God,
think so.
Jesus, man. It was rough. It was super rough, man. I don't know what inspired that monstrosity of a storm that was last night in Foxborough, but oh my gosh.
And just for the final drive, it was bad the whole game, but the
Oh my
final drive,
gosh.
you couldn't even see the field.
Yeah, like, and we'll get to that. We'll get to all of that
Mhm.
stuff. This is the Purple Rain podcast. This is episode 3. I'm Sutton Def. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. Also, this episode of Purple Rain podcast partially sponsored by, not really, I just kind of like to
Yeah.
say that, by OlerClothing.com, and I'm actually wearing a piece of it right now, a piece of the merch. I do have like my own, clothing line. So if you do want to check some of that out, if you like this hoodie I got on now, this is the Old English October Orange hoodie. So check that out. But yeah, I'm Sutton Def. My boy Alex.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at AlexSoberman_ or on Instagram, simply as10.prod. Have my own YouTube channel. Hope you guys know about it. Simply as10. And I think it is definitely sponsored by Overlooked Underrated. Gotta go
Hey.
cop. I 100% agree. Going cop. And these Nike headbands, it wasn't on purpose.
It wasn't. It really
I just got
wasn't.
lazy today. Didn't want to do my hair. So here we are.
Same. But yeah,
Man.
shout out to you guys in the chat too. We already see a bunch of you guys in here. Shout out to y'all for coming through. I know, this is a time for us to kind of join together, band together as Ravens fans. And even if you're not a Ravens fan, you're going to hear a lot of our grievances today, but they'll be very impartial. But yeah, shout out to you guys coming through tonight. And yeah, Peyton, Wavy, what's up with you guys, man? I know, let's go ahead and we might as well get right into it, right? Just initial thoughts, like after the game, before, during, and after the game. What are your thoughts on the game as a whole, bro?
I was looking forward to it. Like the game before was the Bills and Cardinals, and that Hail Mary. That I was like, okay, like it's gonna be a good game. We had a good game
Right.
before. We get to the game. Our first drive, our second drive when Willie Snead took the jet sweep for the touchdown. That was, I think, our best drive of the year. I don't know what Roman dialed up. Beautiful.
I don't know how that worked so well. I was like,
and
no
especially,
way Snead's going to get this corner,
right,
get around
and
this
it's Willie
corner.
Snead. It's not Duvernay. It's not
Right.
Hollywood. I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then as the time goes on, the pain goes on. And man, oh man. Between Brandon
pain.
Williams not being in, we had to play where Derek Wolfe and Terrell Bonds got hurt, and then the Patriots scored. Man,
Just demoralizing.
100%. What are your thoughts? Like, what sticks out about last night to you? I would say.
Man, I mean, of course, everything you just said with the injuries and all that. The injuries is what really sticks out, and that's what really stings about last night's game. Excuse me, because not only was it a very, very tough game to play in because of the conditions, and because of the injuries, but like, yeah, basically the main thing taking away from that game, number one, we lost. Number two, we got injured like crazy. Like there was at least like how many injuries did we have total last night?
I believe. I forgot about Nick Boyle. Yeah. We're gonna go 4 because Humphrey was hurt as well, but they said he'll be fine. But that's still an injury. Derek Wolfe came back, but that's still an injury. No, 5, and then Brandon Williams, Terrell Bonds, Nick Boyle.
We may be missing one too. That's the crazy thing.
We probably are.
I feel like we are missing one, and that's like I said, that's the thing that really sticks out to me the most about this game. It stings because we lost, but it also stings because it doesn't set us up well for the future. Like losing Brandon Williams when we're about to play the Titans this week, It's like, what is the timing on that? You know what I mean? Like, we could ill afford to lose anybody else on our defensive line. We already lost Calais Campbell. He's not going to be back next week to help against Derrick Henry. And now we're not going to have Brandon Williams. So we're going to have a banged up Derek Wolfe if he plays. I'm sure he
Yeah.
probably will because he has to. At this point, we don't even have guys. You know what I mean? Like, we got to start really digging in our bag. And then, man, I think another big thing that I took away from this game is that, like, you know, and I'll say this about the game of football. Every game of football is won or lost in the trenches. So your offensive
Agreed.
line and your defensive line. Our defensive line is decimated now. Decimated. Like losing Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams. What are you about to say?
Is Lodi Nada still available? Can we pick him back up?
Right?
Honestly,
Can somebody let's get on the phone with Haloti Nada, see if he's down to come back to Baltimore for a couple more months, man. That would be all.
And some Royal Farms chicken. We'll throw that in there too.
He'll throw some Royal Farms in there, you know, for his grievances. But listen, man, I just think that our offensive line as well is a total experiment, right? Yeah. The whole DJ Fluker experiment. He's on the right side, now he's on the left side, now he's out the game, and now we've got, you know, Makari flipping over to this side, and we've got, you know, Orlando Brown just holding down the left, kind of. It's very, very unstable. It's very unstable and too unstable for my liking. And people, you know, I know a lot of people saying that, like, you know, Lamar deserves like some of the blame and stuff like that, which of course at the end of the day he's gonna take some of the blame, but I don't think he deserves a lot at all, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Of course.
But I just think that, you know, with the offensive line being such a downgrade from last year, it's just like, how do you get the passing game going? You can't. Like the trenches is the foundation for everything. You know, wide receivers, running backs, defensive backs, those are all secondary players. If your guys down low in the trenches aren't performing, you're not going to win football games. So I think moving forward, we definitely are going to have to figure some things out when it comes to, you know, our defense and our offensive line. But what do you think, bro?
100% agree. And I'll be honest, I was a huge fan of DJ Fluker. I thought he was going to come in. I'm like, why are we starting Tyree Phillips? Like, Fluker can come in here and make a difference. And boy, was I wrong. The fact they pulled him out, I believe, at halftime and brought in Ben Powers, who never gets playtime. Never.
Right.
And he's in there, and he's looking better. And then also Matt Skura. I mean, I'm just going to touch on this now. If you were the one sending hate messages to Matt Skura's family, you can leave the chat right now because you're not a Ravens fan. Simple as that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't send – that's not cool. But even that, like, I thought maybe, okay, why not put maybe Patrick Makari at center and then, I don't know, just flip-flop Powers to right guard and then Fluker at right tackle. I don't know. But you're right. The trenches right now, we just get blown up in both sides of the ball. And defensive-wise, something that is really sticking out to me is Jihad Ward has been inactive. Yeah. The fact he can't make the game day roster, something has to be going on because we need as many people on that D-line as we can get. So
stopping the run, yeah.
Exactly. So I think if he's not active next week and with all of these injuries, he'll probably be gone soon, I think, because we're going to have to sign some tight ends, going to have to sign a lineman on each side of the ball. And if Terrell Bonds is out, maybe another corner. So I'm not too sure what we can do, but it's been a weird few weeks now. Weird few weeks.
It definitely has been a weird few weeks. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. But let's see. Kenny Soberman, we miss Yonda. That we do. We miss Yonda so much. And we also miss Ronnie Stanley as well. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him. Our guy, 3 Swings. Shout out to you for joining the show, bro. He says, do you guys think the Ravens would have won if it was not raining? I feel as though they probably would have. What do you think about that?
I look at it, the Patriots had to deal with the rain as well, and so did we. The only way it came into a factor was that last drive when it was just a downpour. Gosh. And I feel like we should have won either way. I feel that we hurt ourselves too many times. I'll go into that now. Mark Ingram, he shouldn't even be running back 1 or 2. He should be running back 3. What did he do last night? Besides the 10-yard out pass the first drive, what did he do? I
can tell you what he did. He had 5 carries for 5 yards. So that means he averaged 1 yard a carry. So essentially he did nothing, like, And that's just something, that's one of the because I was telling you about like certain things I wanted to talk about on this episode. I do not think that let's see, Mark Ingram, he shouldn't be running the ball on first down. I don't think he should be getting the call on first down. I don't like that anymore. I think Gus Edwards getting his 3, 4, 5 yards of carry, on first down is what we need as an offense. Like Mark Ingram, he doesn't have that burst anymore running between the tackles. If he, gets stopped on, if one gap gets closed up, he's searching for another gap and he's just falling down mainly. Like he's just not the same guy anymore. So I think that we should definitely move away from him on first down. Like you said, he should probably be RB3. I like Gus. Like I said, I like Gus, even JK. But yeah, just Mark Ingram. And then also that 4th and 1 play. Let's talk about that really quick.
Okay, we can definitely talk about that because I'm looking at Gus Edwards' stats right now. 7 carries for 42 yards.
6 yards.
6 yards and 1 catch for 31 yards. So
and
let's go to that.
Was impressive.
And he never catches out the backfield. He's not a reception back, but wide open, Lamar finds him, and he looked fast last night. On that,
oh yeah,
he went by everybody. But yeah, that 4th and 1, if it's me calling a 4th and 1 with the Ravens, it's either a Lamar, a sneak, or Gus Edwards up the middle.
Yeah.
I don't get the call last night because it's not like Ingram was going to throw it. Everybody knew he was going to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, let Gus roll. 100% agree with that. And we've talked about it before. Gus is the best running back on the team. Not the best overall back, but running back. What do you think about that 4th and 1? Because I just still am kind of baffled by it.
Oh my gosh, man. I just don't think that like that whole 4th and 1 situation, it's like my biggest thing is situational football, situational decisions. Like you have to make these decisions down to a T. It's about execution. You can't like put that sort of risk on our team in that situation. So let's back it up and see where we were at that point. It was 4th and 1. I believe we were down. How much were we down by at that point? I can't even remember.
I want to say I think 7. I think it may have been because I know they missed the extra point. So
you're right. Yeah. Oh yeah, they did miss that extra point. But basically, man, it's just 4th and 1. Why take your best player off the field? That's number one. Lamar Jackson was not anywhere near that play at all. Was he on the field or was he on the sideline?
I think he may have been lined up as a receiver, but either
That's
way.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I
think he was, being like a decoy. But everybody knew Mark Ingram was running that play. That's for one thing. Number 2, we ran that play week 2 against the Texans. And we scored a touchdown on that very same play. So if you don't think that Bill Belichick is planning for that, especially when he sees it lined up on the field, and his players are very disciplined as well. They know that that's coming. Number 3, Mark Ingram hasn't played in 2 or 3 weeks. So why do we have him doing something? 2 weeks. Why do we have him doing something like fielding a snap, like he's a quarterback? Third of all, it's raining cats and dogs outside. So it's going to make it even harder for him to catch the ball. And by the way, who's snapping him the ball? A struggling center who's been struggling with snaps. Even last week against Indianapolis when it was not raining at all, completely dry field.
In a dome.
He was messing up snaps. So it's like all those things that you put together, it makes absolutely zero sense. Like none.
Man.
None at all to run, getting the wildcat with Mark Ingram taking the snap so he can try to run for 1 yard. It's just no. We could have easily. You could have QB sneaked it. Honestly, put Lamar under center. Just tell him, hey, go get 1 yard. You know what I mean? Tell the offensive line, get one good push. We'll get this 1 yard, and we'll go from there. I don't understand the play call, and I will say this. I know I'm kind of getting a little bit worked up right now. I'm getting a little bit worked up because I'm very emotional. I love the Ravens a lot.
It's our Ravens.
And yeah. And it's like last night was it was very tough for me, because I feel like we really had a lot of opportunities to win that game. Now, of course, we did get plagued with injuries early. Now, I will say the biggest reason why we did lose this game, the biggest reason was definitely losing Brandon Williams. And because from that point on, we just could not stop the run to save our lives. It was bad. They were going to the outside. They were going between the tackles. It was just terrible. So, yeah, man, I think that's the biggest reason that we did lose. And we got it together in the second half. After the first drive of the second half, the defense got it together. They were stuffing the run. And then the offense was making some drives down the field. We had a little bit of momentum going. Shout out to Willie Snead too. Um,
Honestly, the only receiver that shows up week in and week out. And actually, I'm glad you brought him up because I was on
yeah.
Twitter last night and I saw a Saints fan. This great tweet. The Ravens wide receiver 1 used to be their wide receiver 3. Got to
hmm
get Lamar some help. So it's not like he was a 2. He wasn't a 1. He was a 3. And that is our best receiver right now.
Oh
We are
yeah.
not building around the best player we have had in a very long time. And that is a huge issue right now. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Gamer Guy says, Willie Snead, wide receiver 1. He's literally a wide receiver 1, man. That's a problem. You can't
Yeah.
rely on a guy like Willie Snead, and shout out to Willie Snead because he's really good. He's a really good football player, phenomenal football player. But it's like we need a dog. We need
Yes.
somebody who is going to go get the football, somebody who is going to catch those 50-50 balls. Like when Lamar threw it up to Hollywood right before halftime and it got intercepted. Like,
Hmm.
that's not a ball. I think I tweeted it. That's not a ball you throw up to a guy like Hollywood Brown.
No,
Like, Hollywood
he's
Brown is
not.
like 5 foot whatever, and he's not that big. You know what I mean? So, like, he's not going to like body some other guy one-on-one and go up and
No.
catch the ball. And I think I saw our guy Sonny was talking about it the other day. Well, yesterday he was saying that like if we like Steve Smith Sr. back when we had him, he's not letting that pass get
No.
completed or get
No.
intercepted. Like he's breaking that up. He's doing something. You know what I
Or
mean?
he'll catch it over you and tell
Or
you
he'll
he just
catch it
caught
over
it
you.
over you. Simple as that.
Exactly. A dog, somebody with that fight in them. You know what I mean? Like, and we simply don't have that. We've got guys who should be that. Whisper Miles Boykin. He should be. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like something like that. But he's just not. He's just not physical. So
No.
if we can't get guys who can't get separation, I mean, there's really not much we can do. And somebody just
Yeah.
brought up Dez in the chat. Gamer Guy. He says Dez might be our last hope for a 50-50 wide receiver this season. And I agree. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree.
obviously, we can't, and we all know this. We can't trade anymore. We can only pick up
No.
guys who are, free agents right now. And we already have Dez on our practice squad. So I don't know when we're going to bring him up finally, like permanently. But if we want some help for Lamar at wide receiver, then Dez, I think he's our guy. Because if Lamar wants to throw it up to a guy when there's one-on-one coverage, I mean, Hollywood's definitely not the best option. And I know Hollywood's in his ear, right?
I think ever since that tweet has come out, we've been forcing the ball to Hollywood a lot more. Or is that just me? I feel like we are forcing it to him.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Honestly, I think we are kind of forcing it to him. It's just not like Lamar. I know they're like best friends. I know they're best
Yeah.
friends, but they really need to, or Lamar needs to. He needs to kind of man this ship and be like, hey, like, look, bro, if you're not gonna get separation on these guys one-on-one, I'm not throwing you the ball. Like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like you're 5 feet whatever, and you're X amount of pounds, like 100 and something pounds. Like I'm not throwing that up for to get picked off, and now the other team's going the other way. And if you don't like that, sorry. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I know they're best friends, but this is a job. You know what I'm
It's
saying? And like
business.
it's business. Like you got to do what's best for the team. And sometimes I feel like or at least maybe it's Hollywood. Maybe it's Hollywood. Maybe it's both of them. I don't know, but maybe it's just not doing what's best for the team. Like,
So I see a comment from my guy Quentin, and
mm,
since we're talking about needs right now, what is our biggest need going into the draft? He asked us, and then we're talking about receivers, we're talking about D line, we're talking about O line. What do you think is our biggest need come NFL draft 2021?
honestly, I mean, I have to say O-line. I have to say O-line. Like, that right guard position, that center position, like, we've got to do something. We have to make a move there. Our D-line, I have some faith in. We put some money into them this season, getting the Calais Campbell, getting the Yannick Ngakoue, who hasn't really been performing like that. He's way more of a pass rusher than a run stopper.
Mm-hmm.
That's obvious, especially after last night. But
Yeah.
getting those guys, and, even a Derek Wolf. Derek Wolf's been great. Derek
Yeah,
Wolf has been
he
great
used
stopping
him
the run.
blowing up the point of attack. I love what I see from him, and I know Yannick had a few plays last night where he didn't make the tackle, but he blew it up to the point where it allowed somebody else to come in there and get the free tackle right on them. And I feel
Yeah.
like we need more guys like that who are just straight dogs. They will run into you. And I know this team lives and dies off the turnovers, but when you're going for the ball, they get 5 more yards. It
Yeah.
would be 3 guys around them, and they're just trying to strip the ball, and they just get 5 more yards. I'm like, just tackle them because it's the Patriots. Getting a turnover from them is going to be a challenge in itself.
Oh
So
yeah.
let's not try. Let them make their own mistakes because Cam, he showed it the past few weeks he was going to make his mistakes. Here we are, taking a
Yeah.
loss. So I feel like we were trying to do too much together. But an interesting name that came up today actually was DeAndre Baker from the Giants. Did you hear that story?
No, I didn't.
So he was the one who got arrested this past summer, or him and Quentin Dunbar. They apparently set up a robbery. Basically, the Giants let go of him. He was a first round pick 2 years ago. Now his charges got dropped. First round
Mm.
talent corner is out there. The Giants said they don't want nothing to do with him. If I'm the Ravens right now, how injuries are, I'm going to pick him up because I also last night Tremont Williams made his debut.
Tremont
Didn't
Williams, yeah.
He looked solid, but we need a younger guy because if your name isn't Marlon Humphrey or Marcus Peters, you're going to get picked on.
Yeah.
So I feel like why not go get DeAndre Baker on a vet minimum right now? I'm not even just a minimum contract, a prove it deal, and because I really can't see what else the secondary is going to do because our third and fourth corners are dropping like flies. So
Yeah, we definitely do need some more depth at corner, that's for sure, because we're kind of thin there. But I do think that I think that in the trenches, as long as we just need our guys healthy, as long
mhm.
as we can get and keep our guys healthy, I feel like, one thing is going to impact another. Like I said, it all starts in the trenches. If the defensive line is playing well, then the secondary is going to be playing even better. You know what I mean? Because it's just like you're going to be forcing mistakes out of the quarterback because the D line's getting to you, that sort of thing. So I think we'll be good at corner. We have two very, very talented corners in Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. And Marcus Peters has just been amazing for us this season, minus, some of like the, pass interference penalties, things like that. He's just a ball hawk, and same thing with Marlon Humphrey. He's a turnover machine. We've got more depth now with Tremont Williams and Jimmy Smith. As long as Jimmy Smith can, get
Stay
healthy
healthy.
and stay healthy, we should be fine there. But like I said, man, I just think that once we get our pieces back on our defensive line that are hurt right now, we're going to be in a lot better shape when it comes to not only the defensive line, but the secondary as well, because one impacts the other.
I
Yeah.
agree with you there, and like I bring up the DeAndre Baker just because our pass rush has been so minimal. Just maybe more coverage checks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but since we're talking about picking up two, we're down to one tight end right now.
Yeah.
One tight end. And I know
Yeah.
we brought this up a few weeks last week. Just do we need that third tight end? And now it's not even a third tight end. It's a backup for Mark Andrews. And I know we have Luke Wilson out there who we had in for a tryout. We have Delaney Walker who I've been dying for the Ravens to get. And then
That'd be nice.
we have 2 guys in the practice squad who I don't really have much faith in them because they really have never played a game in the NFL. So what do you think we do tight end wise?
Um, Tight end wise, I think that it's kind of hard to say because I wouldn't necessarily want us to like go out and try to like get a bunch of pieces, like scramble and like try to get a bunch of
Yeah,
pieces just to try to win this year. I feel
yeah,
like that's not necessary. We still have a fairly young team. Lamar's still young. Now, one thing is Lamar only does have one more year left on his rookie deal after this year. So we're going to have to pay him, which means that I think that we should wait. I think we should wait. I think we should draft guys. I think we
yeah,
can bring up a Eli Wolf from the practice squad. We can sign a Luke Wilson, to or Delaney Walker to a very, very minimal deal. I think that EDC could probably work that out, make that happen. And I think we'd be good. Like I think we'd be good like that at tight end because of course Boyle's going to come back next season, hopefully. So I think we'll be okay. We just need maybe one or two guys to kind of patch it up for the rest of the season. The biggest issue is the blocking that we're going to miss from Nick
exactly.
Boyle because Nick Boyle is he's one of the biggest guys on our offense, and just his blocking ability was second to none, really. He was so physical. Him and like a couple other guys like Stanley.
Yeah.
So,
I'll go.
losing. Yeah.
I'll say right now. I mean, I'm not the one calling. I saw multiple people calling him the best blocking tight end in the league. I mean, when you see when we're running, Boyle was the first one out there laying a block. He would take out 1 or 2 people with his blocks, and I feel like if you told me that 3, 4 years ago that Nick Boyle was going to be a crucial part of this offense, I would have laughed in your face
Right.
because he was a third string, second string tight end. He was getting suspended 4 games, and he stepped up to be a great part of this offense. And just sucks seeing him go down like that because I mean he just doesn't deserve that. He's been like a household name just for Ravens fans. Like no, not fans of other teams don't know about him, but without him, this offense doesn't click the way it does last year.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. And like I know we have Pat Ricard who kind of does, he handles some of those duties sometimes.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna have to see a lot more of him, this season at
Yeah.
least. What do you think about Pat Ricard, like going forward, being that guy, that big blocker guy, or catch the ball out the flat, that sort of thing?
Man, I don't know. I mean, he really hasn't been his usual self that we've seen the
Mm,
past 2 years, like the Project Pat.
yeah.
I mean, I've watched so many Ravens games, like when he's going across, like he's motioning over, it's gonna be a run. But I was watching him last night, and he missed one of his blocks, and he almost got caught for a holding. So
Hmm.
I'm like, it's like the whole offense right now is just not in rhythm compared to last year.
Not in rhythm at all, man. It's really like it's sad to watch. And last night I think it's unfair to really be too harsh on the offense because of the
Yeah,
conditions.
yeah,
Like we can put some of the blame on Matt Skura. I mean, I know that people were like, in his Instagram comments saying like hurtful things, and that's never okay. That's never
yeah.
okay. But of course, I mean, at the end of the day, it was kind of his fault on some of those plays, because the snap, you can't do anything if the snap is not good. That
No.
ruins the whole entire offensive play. So it's like if he can't get that together, and here's my biggest thing for us right now is unforced errors. We're the type of offense that execution is everything. So the last thing we can do, or the last thing we can afford to do, is beat ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we cannot have like, low snaps to Lamar, or like super high snaps, or to the side or
Yeah.
this side, or it doesn't work that way, because that
No.
throws our whole offense off. We can't fake the run. The play action's a little bit different from there, just period. And then, if Lamar has to focus on like getting his eyes, maybe the snap's gonna come over here to my left, maybe it's gonna come to the right, maybe it's gonna be a little bit low, maybe it's gonna be a little bit high. That's gonna take some of his focus, some of his attention off of the receivers that are downfield. On top of the fact that our offensive line right now has a lot of injuries, and we lost Marshall Yanda, so he doesn't even have as much time to let his wide receivers routes develop. And maybe that's a reason why Hollywood Brown is, so frustrated, because he runs a lot of those deep routes, and Lamar can never find him because he never has time to let those routes develop.
Mhm.
So, it sucks.
It does. And just bringing it back to the offensive line,
Hmm.
if we're going to look at our first game of the year, I believe it was Stanley left tackle. Then you
Right,
have Bozeman left guard,
right.
Skura center, Tyree Phillips right guard, and
Yeah,
then Zeus right tackle.
yeah,
Right now, it's Zeus left tackle, Bozeman left guard, Skura center. We're going to go Makari right guard, and then Ben Powers right tackle. Then we've had Fluker mixed in there. Just what you mentioned about the trenches. We have a quarterback who can buy himself time. And I feel like sometimes our linemen are like, okay, we know we have a quarterback that can get himself out of that. And they
yeah.
just don't block as hard as they can. Like, I just don't get it right now. This regression from last year, like we were putting up 40 points for fun, and we didn't hit 20 last night. I
Hmm.
know we hit 20 all these other games, but we really
Yeah.
haven't had that breakout offense game that we've been used to. And I thought it was going to be last night. I was wrong. I don't know when it'll be because our upcoming schedule, I know my guy Kyle brought it up. We do have a tough road ahead of us.
We do, and we'll definitely talk about that as well. But there's a couple people in the chat here who've been asking us questions, and let's go ahead and answer their questions.
Do it.
Thank you guys
Let's
for
do it.
interacting with us first and foremost. And if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, man. We love coming on here giving y'all content. So
We're
let's take a
both
look
just
at
very
it.
frustrated from last night too.
Very frustrated. We had to get some things off of our chest. But
For
now that we
sure.
have, let's go ahead and get to some questions. Let's see. 100 Amidi, he
Oh,
says, AFC playoff teams prediction. Since Ravens are in the AFC, it relates to them.
of course.
Yeah,
So
right. So,
right now, actually, I want to give you guys a story because right now the Chiefs are the 2 seed and the Ravens are the 7 seed.
yeah,
It's going to sound very crazy.
yeah,
After we lost the Chiefs in week 3, I had a dream that night. Just
really.
bear with me that we
Yeah.
played the Chiefs in the playoffs. We were down. We came back. All right.
Ooh.
The Chiefs have one last drive. Mahomes drops back, and he gets picked off by Anthony Averett. Don't ask me
Ooh.
why. If that happens,
Mm.
I feel like I'm done. I've done everything I had to. I've had a great life. I just if that happens, but yeah. So right now we're the 7th seed. The Dolphins
Okay.
are ahead of us. The Raiders are ahead of us.
Yeah, I
And
think I'm gonna go ahead and I have it actually pulled up here. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. You guys can see. Let's see. There we go. So let me take this off for us. So we can just looking at the playoff picture right now. Of course, Steelers 1 seed, Chiefs 2 seed, Bills 3 seed, Colts 4 seed, Raiders 5, Dolphins 6, and then the Ravens all the way down at 7th seed.
yeah,
Wow.
then we have two other teams below us with the same record as the Titans and the Browns, and we play both of them. So beating those two is even more important just to get that tiebreaker.
Right. Yep. Wow, we really could miss the playoffs this year. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it really also comes down to, let's see, the Raiders and the Dolphins, they have to keep it up, right? Like,
yeah.
they have to keep, the Dolphins, I'm not sure how long they can keep this up with, rookie quarterback Tua. It'd be great to see him shine. I think somebody put in the comments earlier, like, what do we think about the Dolphins? I think the Dolphins are a very good football team. I think we talked about that a little bit on the last episode. Brian Flores has been great for them. Tua's been, he's been very good for a rookie. But yeah, I think that the Dolphins are one of those teams, and also the Raiders. They're one of
Yeah.
those teams who could, they could like fall out of that race because the Raiders and the Dolphins are both in divisions with, the Chiefs and the Bills,
The Bills,
and
yeah.
yeah, they're not gonna end up with a better record than them. So they could very well fall out of this race, and I think we could kind of find our way and sit a little bit more comfortably, maybe in the 5th seed, maybe even the 4th seed if we, get our act together as a team. But
So to bring up the Dolphins, I feel like
mhm,
if the Steelers weren't 9-0 and weren't playing as good as they were, Brian Flores would be an easy Coach of the Year candidate. But I feel
yeah,
like right now it's got to go to Tomlin just because of what he's done with that team.
yeah, yeah.
But either way, man. So I feel like the Dolphins, they still got the Patriots and they still got the Bills to play. I don't care what the Patriots record is. I feel like the Patriots will beat the Dolphins. That's Belichick
Hmm.
against one of his former guys at coach. You know he's going to do everything he can to beat them. I feel like the Browns and the Titans are just bigger threats than the Raiders and the Dolphins who are in the playoffs right now because the Titans have that crucial playoff experience. They know how to get it done. The
They do.
Browns have that dog mentality. They have Baker Mayfield who just talks, and he's going to want to do anything to disprove his haters wrong. And they have Jarvis Landry, and I don't care what anybody says. When Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't play for the Browns, they are a much better team. I don't know why, don't know how, but that's just how
I
it
think I
works.
think they just run the ball more. They're
I
just like we don't have to try to force Odell the ball a couple, X amount of times a game. So let's just give it to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and just do it that way, right?
Hey Ravens, take notes, please. Run the ball.
Please, please, Ravens, if you're listening, take notes, run the ball. Gus Edwards. I
J.K.
don't even know
Dobbins.
how many. J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards is on the season. I wonder how many yards a carry he's averaging. It's got to be something like really good right now. At least 5 yards a carry. Which is crazy. So
Four,
yeah,
four and a half, four and a
four and a
half.
half yards.
With
It's almost
with
like
this
yeah,
terrible line.
man. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves. But just kind of wrapping up on the whole playoff picture, the AFC playoff picture thing. Um, let's see.
I
The
see
tight.
a comment. Oh, my bad, from 100 Amity. I know beforehand we had Quinn ask us about Cincinnati and if there will
Yeah,
be threats. So to get to that and kind of form it with 100 Amity, the Dolphins have the Broncos, Bengals, and Jets. I know the Bengals lost very bad to the Steelers yesterday, but to me, the Bengals are a team who I would be scared of if I have to play them
yeah.
down the road because
They're
no matter who
dangerous.
they are, exactly, they have a great offense in my opinion. I mean, they got shut down yesterday, but Burrow is the real deal. He has no line, he has the weapons, and I feel like if I'm a team playing them, like you can't take it lightly. Even the Jets played the Patriots harder than the Ravens played the Patriots last night.
Yeah.
So that's just football. It's any given Sunday. It really is.
Any given Sunday, absolutely. And like the Dolphins, What did you say those three games were? You said the Broncos, Bills. Oh yeah, Broncos, Bengals, and
Bengals
Jets.
Jets.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think like most notably, like the Bengals, like you were saying, they're a team that's super dangerous because I mean they're doing this like all without Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is their star running back. He's actually very good. He's been hurt. He hasn't played football in about a month. So I feel like once they get him back, they could start winning
Yeah.
some games.
And we saw it 2017, week 17. The Bengals had nothing to play for. And they come into
Hmm.
Baltimore and they beat us. Tyler Boyd touchdown with 40 seconds left and knock us
Yeah,
out the playoff picture. So, and we played them week 17, funny enough, this year. Hope that's not the
yeah.
same thing, but it's a team to always, you just can't take them lightly because it's the Bengals.
Shout out to the Dolphins though. Shout out to all Dolphins fans as well. Um, you guys are on the come up, man. Like I think the Dolphins are really a good football team. I feel like in the next couple of years, just with a couple more pieces, a few more pieces, maybe like a stud running back, a little bit of extra
Yeah.
help, on other pieces of the offense as well. I think that they could actually be a very, very dangerous team. And that AFC East, man, with Belichick, and then of course, the
The
Bills
Bills.
and the Dolphins now. Like I
Yeah.
think they could really, really make some noise. They could be like, like a they kind of almost mirror the AFC North when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
kind
But
of. I mean, because you
I'm
got
like, I mean, the Bengals have potential. I just don't see that potential in the Jets. I just feel like until they get
yeah,
rid of Gase, I feel like Adam Gase is like the
yeah.
big issue there.
They need to get rid of Gase, that's for sure. Let's see. Our guy Kyle says, okay, let's hear it. If the Ravens miss the playoffs or
Oh,
underperform in the playoffs, do you guys fire Harbaugh? Just a little
wow.
preface for this question. I saw somebody on Twitter this morning just say outright, like, fire Harbaugh, like he needs to go. And at first glance, I'm like, why would we fire John Harbaugh? And he said a couple of things. He was like, and this is not nothing that I didn't already know, but like he was like, I feel like he feels like John Harbaugh doesn't really have control over the team like as much as he should. So, and I thought that was kind of interesting because John Harbaugh, he really doesn't strike me as a guy who's like, this is my team. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
like things are gonna go my way. Oh, this isn't working, Greg Roman. Okay, we're doing it my way now. I'm calling the plays for the rest of the game. We're
Yeah.
doing this way, or that sort of thing. And then, like in the press conferences, I know he had a live press conference today. John Harbaugh did, and he was, basically saying like, I thought Greg Roman called a pretty good game, yada yada yada, defending him to no end, and of course he's gonna always do that, in front of the media, which is a good thing. You never want to like
Yeah.
air out guys on the media, but I would just hope, I really do hope that he is, in everybody's ear in the building. Like, okay,
Yeah.
look, we need to tighten up ship. Like, he needs to actually lead that team. He is the head coach because a guy like Mike Tomlin is. A guy like Mike Vrabel is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like those guys are
Even his
leading the
brother,
team, and you can
Jim
see,
Harbaugh.
yeah, Jim
Jim did
Harbaugh's the
it
same way.
when he was with the Niners. He did it same thing.
Yeah,
So to
but
bring that up, my
yeah,
bad. I feel
no,
like
go ahead.
Harbaugh is way too loyal to his offensive coordinators. I feel like I know even I believe it was 2017, like
Hmm.
our offense was just abysmal. Then we drafted Lamar, but I'm like, how are you going to keep Marty Morningwig when our offense that year was we won because of our defense. Our defense pitched like 3 shutouts that year, and that's
Yeah,
unheard of. And we
yeah.
still were struggling in some of those games to just get something going. So I've never been the biggest Harbaugh fan. I'll be honest about that. I
Hmm.
Yeah, I really haven't. I know. I think 2016, 17. You can check it if I'm wrong. The Titans. They had what was his name? It was their old coach before Vrabel. I think it was Mike Munchak. They played
Hmm.
the Chiefs in the wild card round and lost. After the game, they fired him because they would get to the playoffs and they wouldn't do anything. That you bring up a great point. I honestly don't think the Ravens will because Harbaugh has kind of been a staple of this team.
Yeah, he's got major tenure.
Yeah, it's I'm I just can't see us getting rid of him. I really can't.
Yeah. I don't think we necessarily need to get rid of him. I just think that Harbaugh needs to wake up and realize, like, hey, if this isn't working on offense, I need to go to my guys. His offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator is supposed to be like, those are supposed to be his right hand men. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? If you can't go to those guys and be like, hey, listen, this isn't working. So as the head coach, like I outrule you. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna do things this way. We're gonna make these adjustments, that sort of thing. Like if you can't do that as a coach, I definitely do think that you don't need to be a head coach. Maybe you should be, an offensive coordinator or a defensive
Hmm.
coordinator, a special teams coach or something like that. I know he was
Yeah.
at one point, but I don't think that, to answer Kyle's question, I don't think that we fire Harbaugh.
No.
Even if the Ravens miss the playoffs, even if we underperform, that's going to be the last thing on everybody's mind, firing John Harbaugh. I just think that, because listen, man, we just went 14-2. We just got done going 14
Yeah.
and 2 last year. So it's like you can't up and fire a guy because we didn't win the Super Bowl this year and we got injured, in a lot of key places. So I don't think we fire him.
But I think if we do miss it, depending how next year goes, that seat might get a little warm. Not gonna
Oh,
say
it's
it's
gonna get
hot,
hot.
but it's
I
gonna
would
be
say it's
warm. And
hot. I mean, it
you
was just hot not that long ago. Remember,
and
right before Lamar.
exactly,
Yeah,
and Lamar saved him. Lamar, and I think that's why he is just like his relationship with Lamar is so close because he knows Lamar
yeah,
saved his ass
yeah.
because we were 4-5 and we just lost the Steelers. The week before that, we lost. We didn't lose to the Panthers. We got just flat out destroyed by the Panthers in
It's
Carolina in
destroyed.
2018. And then
That was
Lamar
Lamar's
comes
first
in,
game he actually played.
yeah, and he threw a touchdown to Hayden Hurst.
Hmm.
And then Lamar comes in and just things just turn around.
Yeah,
And then Harbaugh kind of just turned into this different coach I really never saw, like the players coach,
yeah.
if you do something bad, I'm gonna give you a hug, not scream at you, coach.
Right.
I we're missing that. I don't know how to say it, but just that coach that'll get in your ass, light a fire
Yeah,
because simply you aren't getting it done. And
yeah.
if I feel like right now, if we could, like, listen, Roman, you can make the run plays, get somebody for them passing plays because those passing
Yeah.
plays are not it. I'm getting a little frustrated because I'm just thinking about it, but just everything about the passing offense is just not it.
Right. And man, I think with Harbaugh, our whole coaching staff, we need guys in our coaching staff who are not going to get pushed around by the other
No,
team's coaching staff, like we did in the Titans game last year, like we do in some of our other games, like we don't make adjustments is basically what I mean. And lately, I
and
will give it to them. We have been making some pretty good adjustments throughout the game. Like us being able to stop the run in the second half last night, that was huge. Because if they just kept running it down our throats, we would have lost by maybe 3 possessions, maybe more than that.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I liked the adjustment. So maybe there is something going on in the coaching staff where Harbaugh is kind of like buckling down and making sure that changes are being made if things aren't working. So. Yeah, and I think let's see, we got another question. Amity also says, I saw people criticizing Lamar, saying he's way overrated. Wanted to know y'all's opinions about that. Man,
no, no.
no,
You know what?
no.
I'm gonna get very frustrated here. Very. I
Hmm.
see people calling Kyler. They're just praising him. Why isn't he a running back? He's ran for a touchdown the past 5 games. Give him these running back slanders. I
Yeah.
just I don't I don't know. Lamar to me is not overrated. He's trying to get it done with what he has, and
Hmm.
that's not his fault. It is the front office's fault, and it's the coach's fault. He can only do with what he has. It's not like he's the one. He put it out there to get AB. He wanted AB on the team. I
Yeah.
mean, AB hasn't done much for the Bucks, but they have two premier receivers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
Right.
So I don't think he's overrated. I'd say he's a top caliber quarterback that I feel like if you ask teams such as who haven't made the playoffs in a few, and
Hmm.
they would take Lamar as their quarterback. I want to get your opinion because I just get a little too worked up about stuff like this. Like I'm not gonna say Lamar is God, but he's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that people would say that Lamar Jackson is overrated. The only reason why people say that is because they were the ones who didn't believe in Lamar from the get-go, from the jump.
Yep.
So for him to struggle at any point, it totally fits their narrative, and they're going to jump on that at any chance that they get. So, him, because last night, look at what he did last night. He had a 99 passer rating, right? He was like, what, something for 24. His completion percentage was pretty good. He threw for 250 yards, had 2 touchdowns, even though one of those touchdowns was kind of like, that play to Snead. So
Yeah.
it counted as a passing touchdown, but it, wasn't really a passing touchdown. But that other passing touchdown he had to Snead was just...
Was in the
That was a
rain.
strike. In the rain.
In the rain. Come on.
In the rain. It's like, oh, he can't throw, but look what he's doing in the rain. Like, do you know how many other quarterbacks would have just laid down and just folded, like, completely, like, couldn't do anything? Like, you got to think about a guy like, take a guy like Josh Allen, for example, and playing against Belichick. Josh Allen is horrible against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. He always plays terrible against them. Yeah. But we're not sitting up here saying that, oh, Josh Allen's overrated, whenever he loses a game or whenever he has a bad game. But when Lamar has a bad game, it's like, oh, people already have it in their heads like, oh, he didn't fit my my liking in the beginning anyway. So now that he's struggling, I'm gonna definitely come back out and talk about how he's overrated, this and that. But what do you think?
What I will give the Bills credit to is they've built around Josh Allen. They got John Brown because they know he's a deep threat. They got Cole Beasley, who I don't know if you watched that Bills Cardinals game.
Oh, he was nasty.
He stepped up.
Oh,
Cole,
yeah.
I'm like, is that the Cole Beasley that was playing with Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, or like that was? And then they got Stephon Diggs, and Diggs, that touchdown, like the way I was really happy for him because it's been hard because the way he got out of Minnesota, call him a diva and all that, but he's really been one of the top receivers this year with the Bills. And you're right. Like, I don't see this slander towards any other quarterback. And I believe one of the players from the Giants actually tweeted out last night, and I retweeted it. Lamar Jackson gets the LeBron James treatment. No matter what he does, it's never going to be good enough.
Yeah. So,
and I'm not even a basketball fan like that, but I definitely see where he's coming from. But I just feel like if we're going to, talk about these quarterbacks, let's all talk about them the same. I mean, and if we would have won last night, nobody would have talked about it. But it's being classified as a big game now. So
yeah, any game we lose to a team with a positive record is considered a big game. But those games we win, it's like, this wasn't. People have their reasons for them not being a big game. Zay King 56, he says, I think Hollywood needs to put up or shut up. So we're talking about Hollywood again. He said, what do you guys think? Hollywood Brown.
Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Can we even call him Hollywood anymore? I feel like we should just call him Marquise.
Definitely
very Marquise, yeah.
I have to agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood was 2 touchdowns on his debut, making catches, all mugged against the Cardinals, just doing his thing, one-handed catches in the playoffs.
Right.
That's Hollywood. Marquise right now is turned into a little bit of an AB, going on there tweeting and just not doing his thing.
It's like, bro, if you're not out there creating separation, why are you crying for the ball?
Simple as that.
You have to have, and we talked about this about 20 minutes ago, that dog. You know what I mean? Like, if you want the
the soldier.
The soldier.
The soldier.
The soldier.
Love that.
He said, what's the point of having soldiers and you don't use them?
Not soldiers.
Soldiers.
Man.
And he said never gets used.
Never.
But the ball comes your way, and when you do catch the football and you see guys around you, you are not fighting for that yards after the catch. You are looking to get out of bounds, go down, do whatever. And I understand that, and I'm talking to you, Marquise Brown. I understand that over the offseason, you know what I mean? Like you you muscled up, and you put on 23 pounds of muscle or something like that, and he retained the same speed. But this year, we're not seeing the fruits of that labor at all.
No.
Like, we don't see like you breaking, the contact at the line, like getting separation, getting those deep routes, really putting pressure on the back end of a defense. And if you're not doing that, you can't expect Lamar, who's already struggling with his offensive line, to wait for you to get all the way down the field or, get one-on-one with a guy and you're still step for step with him. Like, come on, man. Hollywood, he needs to evaluate himself.
And I'm going to ask you this. If you want to be such a soldier, go to Greg Roman. Ask those jet sweeps. Why is Willie Snead getting it? Who arguably is the slowest receiver we have. Maybe Boykin might be slower, but if I'm a soldier...
Boykin's not slow. He ran like a 4? He's not a slow
Oh,
guy.
okay.
He's big and
Okay.
tall, and he's fast too. That's the crazy thing
Okay.
about Boykin. Yeah.
Oh, so okay, there goes man. I don't know what's been wrong with him, but why isn't he getting a jet sweep? Why aren't we running the screens that we run in Duvernay, and
Hmm.
Duvernay takes us down the field for 20, 25 yards? Why isn't Hollywood getting that? Is it
Right.
because he's scared to take a hit? Is that why?
Maybe they're
Because
using him as like a decoy on those type of plays, like when he
it
comes through
could
the
be.
back. Yeah, because I guess teams like they probably look out like because there's not a whole lot of things you have to look out for on the Ravens offense
No.
besides Lamar Jackson. It's like in the receiving core, we look out for number 15 Hollywood Brown. We look out for number 89 Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
And like Hollywood Brown, you bring him like motion before the play snaps, like it's about to be like a jet sweep. People are probably thinking like, okay, he's gonna get the ball, and most of the time he does that, or pretty much all the time he does that, he never gets the football. So
No.
it's like I feel like they're just using it as like a decoy to maybe set something else up, or I don't know if it's Greg Roman just really doesn't trust Hollywood Brown. Is not really drawing up plays for him, but it's just something that we would definitely need to get going. Like if we can't get like that legitimate wide receiver one, we're gonna be in trouble. But yeah,
And
Boykin ran a 4.42.
I see Mises Christ says, I wish we'd have gotten Lamar the same help Kyler got. And you know what? I know we tried to get DeAndre Hopkins, but
Yeah,
some head coach GMs named Bill O'Brien, they want to trade him to teams that aren't in the same conference as them, which I get.
yeah, yeah. I
But
understand that.
maybe
Yeah,
try to get more than a pack of peanuts back for the best receiver in the league. Maybe
right.
that's just because I
Because
know
now
we would
look
have
at
given
you.
you more than David Johnson and what a second round pick. We got this. We
Hmm.
got a better pick or the same pick for a backup tight end. That's all. That's all they're gonna say. And there's a reason why he's a head coach anymore, and probably will never be a head coach in the NFL again.
Yeah, yeah,
I
man. Like if we even tried to get like some help like Kyler Murray has. Like Kyler Murray, he already had, Larry Fitzgerald. I understand Larry Fitz is like older, but he's still like could go up and get a guy. D Hop is just, and I know
there's two.
we all saw that. We all saw that amazing, spectacular catch, that play that Kyler Murray and D Hop made last night. But you get a guy like D Hop and put him with Lamar. Imagine, like, listen, bro. Imagine Lamar throwing up that ball right before halftime to D Hop instead of Hollywood Brown as the wide receiver one. I'm thinking D Hop goes up and gets that ball. And I think we go ahead and we call a timeout, maybe take another play to score, or we kick a
Man,
field goal and it changes that game. So personnel, what you better say,
and
bro?
and let's look at the Cardinals that you just mentioned. Fitz and Hop, Christian
Yeah.
Kirk.
Christian Kirk,
Hell,
Andy
hell,
Isabella.
Andy Isabella. That is
You know what
four
I mean?
right there that will slot in. They will be next to our number. I don't even know who our number one receiver is anymore. I don't know.
Willie
Um,
Sneed.
yeah, I guess so. A former wide receiver three, but it's just I can't hate the Cardinals for it. They've built around their future, and I'm simply as a Ravens fan, I'm just jealous of that. They've done it the perfect way. They've got their line looking good. Their tight ends, I know they have our former tight end Max Williams. I know they have somebody
Yeah.
else. I don't know who it is, but they've been doing their thing. And even in their 2-minute drill, Kyler, the lack of experience when he was running around and I know he dumped it off to Fitz. Fitz went over to him and talked to him. Like we don't
Hmm.
have that like vet like Fitzgerald, to kind of just like calm him down because he's been in the best situations. He's been in the Super Bowl. He knows how to win.
Right.
And I'm jealous that they've just built around quarterback as well as they have. Simple as that.
Yeah, dude, man. It's wow. It's just crazy like how much we invest into our defense, but our offense we just seem to always let go by the wayside. It's like we got Lamar Jackson, it's like, all right, cool. We've got Mark Andrews, all right, cool. We should be good, and then we're just gonna run the ball with
Yeah.
Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Now, here's one more thing I wanted to bring up to you. Uh, with our running back core with Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, and Mark Ingram, do you think that this is probably an obvious one? Somebody asked it earlier in the chat, but do you think Mark Ingram is gone after this year? I definitely do.
Let me see if you guys can read this. I don't think you can. That was my Snapchat story from last night. I said, when does the pain end? I'll drive Mark Ingram back to effing New Orleans at this point.
Yeah,
That's how much I
honestly,
am done.
man.
That's honestly how I feel because I don't get why we keep going to him. And we brought in Justice Hill, who has gotten no play time as a running back in the red zone last night.
Zero.
I don't know what that says. And I also, since we're speaking about offense, I saw, what was it? Here we go. Kaepernick year 2 struggles versus Lamar year 2 struggles. Greg Roman thread. I'll throw you one even better as well. Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo. This is now the third quarterback. I don't know. I don't want to see Lamar end up like them, as a backup or out of the league. I'm not gonna, but it could be Roman, but we'll have to see.
It's Roman. And there's still a lot of football to be played this season. That's the thing. We still have 7 games to play. And we have a pretty tough stretch coming up. Of course, we've got the Titans. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about our predictions for the rest of the season, as it stands right now. So
okay,
we'll just take a look at. I'm gonna pull up for us just the Ravens schedule so we can all look at it at the same time. Let's see.
While you're pulling that up, I see Kyle asked about the AB situation. Don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, the news that just came out like right before we went live.
So I don't know if my Bucks fan is still in here. If you want to provide some insight, I do know the Bucks said that they knew about it before they signed him. So I'm guessing he'll be all right. But you know what? I guess that's what comes with him, and I guess that's why the Ravens didn't sign him. It's just that off the field drama, and we know the Ravens have had plenty of that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, AB, he's a hell of a player. Just off the field stuff is just.
It's just like, bro, just get it together, man. Like, you make millions of dollars playing football. Just, if you're not like mentally all there, you probably don't need to be playing football, man. It's probably only gonna make it worse. But with AB, because what was the news? What was the story? I just read it. It was like, what did he do?
Okay.
Yeah.
For everybody in here, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But let's see. The Bucks were aware. According to the police report, the homeowners association, they said he was accused of destroying a surveillance camera and throwing a bike at a security guard. I wish I could make this up. I really wish I could.
Jesus, man. Like, throwing a bike at a security guard?
As well as destroying the camera.
And destroying the surveillance camera. Was he on drugs? Was that the thing?
I think that's called CTE, to be honest. But, man, he's...
If that's the case, then it's just like, why, oh my gosh. I don't know. The AB situation is an anomaly in itself, man. He plays for the Bucks now. He's been pretty quiet so far. I feel like the only reason why he's working in Tampa Bay right now is because he's with Brady, and I feel like he respects Brady enough to actually, act 100%. Right on that team and that offense. 100%. So, but let's go ahead and get into the Ravens schedule for the remainder of 2020.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get it, guys. Let's see. So the next game we have, of course, the Titans in Baltimore. That's this Sunday coming up at 1:00. For those of you guys who didn't know, it's not on prime time. But the Titans at Ravens predictions. The early on predictions for this game is that look, Derrick Henry's going to run all over us. We're not going to be able to stop it at all. And that's just that. We're going to lose that game because we can't stop the run. Now, because see, here's the thing. The Titans have been struggling too right now. They've been struggling too. They just lost to a Colts team that we just beat, So I feel like we do have a chance to win this game as long as our run defense can. Well, I think it really also comes down to our offense. Our offense needs to put pressure on the Titans. You know what I mean? Like if we can actually get out to like a lead or something like that, and so they can't just force feed Derrick Henry the ball, I think we'll be fine if we can get into a fight like that with them. Because I think Lamar is well equipped. I think that even with the loss that we had last week, this is the team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year. They ruined our Cinderella story last year. So I feel like we're going to be playing with an extra chip on our shoulder. So I think we can win this game, but will we win this game? It's tough, man, with all the injuries, and it just looks like things are just getting worse and worse. I would actually pick us to lose this game against the Titans, man.
I agree with you, and also some bigger news that came out. I wouldn't say football-wise, but it does deal with football. Is that due to the rising cases in Maryland? Don't know how many people in the chat are from Maryland,
Yeah.
we will have no fans at our game.
Right.
So it was 10% before, not like it really made a difference, but I do know when we played the Steelers, them fans, they made some noise.
Yeah.
So this we'll have to bring our own energy once again.
Again.
And I have to agree with you. I saw Harbaugh say Calais was day to day, and Brandon Williams might be out for a week. If
Yeah.
neither of them play, I'm going to straight loss. If one of them plays, I'm going to give you a 25% chance to win.
Hmm.
I'm probably going to go with the loss there. AJ Brown is a stud.
Gamer guys says it's going to be another slugfest, but it's going to be one of those Tucker games that I can get behind. You know,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
we can at this point, like our offense, if we can get into field goal range and just get a nice little 3 points, you know, from Tucker, as long as we're not punting back to back to back to back, you know what I mean? Like we need points. So if Tucker has to be the one who, you know, carries the load, if our offense can't get down the field on every single drive and score a touchdown, as long as we can get Tucker in range to, you know, give us a chance to win that game. I think that's a good analysis there.
Or if it's 4th and 1, let's not run a wildcat. Nothing crazy.
Right, nothing crazy. But we're gonna go ahead. Let's
Yeah, we'll give that a loss.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably gonna lose that game. Then the next game we have after that, Thanksgiving Day. That is, I mean, all those games are prime time, but 8:20 p.m. is when we play that game against the Steelers in Heinz Field.
Which one's L? I'm gonna give us a big L for that one.
Big L, big L's.
Yeah, I feel like the way the Steelers are playing right now, Claypool is just too big. We have Deontay Johnson. They have Deontay Johnson. They have Juju. Like they are firing on all cylinders, and I really feel like they're gonna go 15-1, and their only loss will be either when they sit their starters or the Bills, because I know we play them hard, but there's no fight. It seems like in this team. Like where is the fight? Like do you like I there was times last night where strap me up. I'll show more heart than them. I won't play as good, but I'll show more heart. And all I want to see is just some fight and some heart. But right. I gotta go with the L. I gotta go with an L there. I really do.
Yeah. I think it's tough to say that we would win that game, but I do think it's possible. If we lose to the Titans, as long as nobody important gets injured or re-injured, and we go into that Steelers game, you know. But see, the only thing about that Steelers game is we play the Titans on Sunday, and then that Steelers game is on Thursday, so that's a quick turnaround as well.
So after Derrick Henry has just ran all over us.
Oh my gosh! And then 5 days later.
But you know what? If I'll throw a hypothetical situation. Let's say you can play one of these guys who is hurt right now. Do you risk them now, or you're like, all right, I'll give you the extra 5 days to heal up for the Thanksgiving game? You know, you'll be 100% playing division rival, undefeated. I
think that this game, since the Titans are also 6-3, right?
Yes.
So this game against the Titans holds higher implications than the game against the Steelers, because at this point we're not going to win the division.
No.
Right? So,
and if you're a Ravens fan who thinks that, we're not going to win it.
We're not going to win the division. They've pretty much ran away with it at this point. We're 3 games behind them. So. And that's huge in the NFL. But, you know, the Titans are 6-3, and they're contending for one of those, you know, those deep playoff spots. So if we can beat them and, like you said earlier, have that tiebreaker, that would be great for us. So we have to beat the Titans. Do I think we will? Probably not. And then that's going to force us to really go on a run for the rest of the season in order for us to make the playoffs. But I think that we can't rest anybody against the Titans, man. We just can't.
Nah, I see the comment, I think y'all should play Trace McSorley. You know what? Since we brought him up, a little shameless promo. You can go look at his highlights on my channel. It's a little shameless promo.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow.
I mean, I think we can beat the Steelers. We can beat the Steelers if we have Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams, and we can shut down the run, you know, and our corners are healthy. Jimmy Smith is back, you know, so to say. Humphrey and Marcus Peters.
Yeah.
If we have all those guys, then I think we stand a legitimate chance at beating them. Hell, we stood a great chance at beating them the last time we played them.
Yeah.
But, you know, Lamar turned the ball over 4 times, which is something that I think he's learned from, because you got to look. Give it to Lamar. He's getting better. He is, and Keeping It Real says, "What up, guys? What up, Keeping It Real? How
So
you doing, bro? Thank you for coming through. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. All you guys watching live right now. If you're not watching live, still like and subscribe. But
cool.
Lamar, I think that he had 4 turnovers in that Steelers game. A lot of those turnovers came from, like it raining and stuff like that. I know the ball was like a big issue in that game. But look at last night. The rain was like 3 times as bad, 5 times as bad as it was in the Steelers game. And Lamar only had 1 turnover. And that 1 turnover wasn't like a bad fumble.
Force.
It was an ill-advised throw, yes.
Force.
But that can happen in any game,
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that like we can beat them. We can beat the Steelers because we almost did it last time. So it's possible that we do, but we'll move along from that one. Cowboys at Ravens. And that is December 3rd. That's also a primetime game.
Thursday nights. We get back-to-back Thursday games.
Okay.
And I'll go with a dub on that. I said it last week.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll be Dez's breakout game. We'll throw up the X that day. I really think, Andy Dalton will be their quarterback, and he always plays us well. But I feel like we just got to beat that. That the NFC East is just so bad.
You got to beat all those guys.
Beating all of them is crucial because I know we get the Giants later. But I feel like beating them is big. And then, not to look too far ahead, we kind of get a mini bye week before that Browns game. So we play that Thursday and we play the Monday afterwards. So I feel like let's win there, get the confidence up, let whoever has to heal. I know Anthony Averett will probably be back. Hopefully Calais will be back, Brandon Williams, barring anything else crazy, not going to win. Right. And then I believe this week LJ Fort and Jimmy Smith should be back, which is also huge. It's just that health aspect is just killing us.
If we can't stay healthy, man, we're not doing anything, And if we can get Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams back, and they can actually stay healthy, then I think we'll be good. But if we can't, a lot of these teams we won't beat. Like the Browns, if our D-line's not healthy against the Browns and they're just running Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb all over us, then hey, that's an L. Yeah. That is an L. I don't care how much time we have to rest. If we don't have those guys, then
that's true.
That's an L, man.
We saw it week 4 of last year. Ran all over us out.
We did. I was actually at that game.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was awful, man.
But
it was awful.
At least we look good. We were wearing the all purple. I like that.
Yeah, I like the all purple. that was a good time. But so yeah, we said the Ravens would beat the Cowboys. Ravens at Browns. That one's kind of a toss up. Divisional rivalry. I think the Browns could get us, but it really does depend on injuries. I think we both agree on that. But Jaguars at Ravens. I feel like we can take care of the Jags, especially at home.
They played the Packers very, very well yesterday. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
They brought down the end. Keelan and Cole, you have to watch out for him, not just as a receiver, special teams as well, as a returner. And then their new quarterback, Ben Luton, I believe his name is. I feel like nobody knows about him, so it's kind of he's being able to kind of go under the radar. No film on him.
Yeah.
The Jags, I really don't want that to be that game where we lose to a team we shouldn't lose to. Like Ngakoue, you hated this organization. Please, let me get 5 sacks. You got to
turn up. You got to
let me get 5 sacks. And then let me get a shady tweet afterwards to their GM.
Yeah, something like that. Sheesh. Like I said, I think we can handle the Jags. I know they played the Packers tough, but I think we can handle business because I think around that time of the season, we're gonna really need to handle business. So I think we will. Giants at Ravens next. I think we can also take care of the Giants. I don't really see Daniel Jones as too much of a threat. I don't know if you guys saw his touchdown run he had yesterday. That was pretty cool.
I did.
He looks slow. The thing was, he looks slow, but I know he's fast. On camera, he looks very slow.
And he didn't trip over the ghost. So
yeah,
he tripped over Sam Darnold's ghost that one time. Ooh.
Yeah,
same stadium, same everything.
Sam Darnold's ghost. Right, but I think we beat the Giants. I think we can both agree on that. And then the last game wrapping up the season, Ravens at Bengals. Again, the team that we dominated the first time around we played them. I think we could probably do the same thing, closing out the season. Yeah. Of course, they're going to be trying to play spoiler on us, but I think we can.
Like always. So before we move on to, I know if anybody wants to ask fantasy questions, I know we're always down for that.
Yeah,
and then Monday Night Football, we talk about that. But I just want to give a little bit of positivity, kind of for the Ravens fans in here. So I was thinking about it. Situations are really the same. I'm like, let me take a look at that 2012 year. How are we
Mm-hmm.
doing? So we started off, what is that? 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
Then we were 8-2. No, we were 9-2. Then we lost three straight to the Steelers, Redskins, Broncos. We got blown out by the
Yeah.
Broncos that game. Then we beat the Giants, lost to the Bengals. Ultimately won the division. But the difference was I know we fired Cam Cameron in the middle of the year and we picked up Jim Caldwell.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to
Yep.
get everybody else's opinion too. Do you think Greg Roman is holding back Lamar Jackson the way Cam Cameron was holding Joe Flacco back? Do you think we have to make a switch? And if so, who would you bring in? This is just me kind of just trying to think about it
Mm.
because we've been in this situation before where we've kind of hit
Yeah.
this rocky road, but we've pulled out of it. And this is a completely different team. We don't have the Ray Lewis, the Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, the Yonda, Matt Burke. We don't have that.
Nope.
So do you think we make that switch now, or what do you think we do?
Oh man, in terms of who, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not sure right now. I'd have to check and see, who's really out there, who's available. But I do definitely think the way that Eric DaCosta is, I think that like by maybe like what week 10, well not week 10, it is week 10, week 14 probably, so in about a month. Um, if we're not producing on offense the way we're gonna need to going into the postseason, like if we're gearing up for a postseason run, you
Okay.
know, and our offense just isn't really playing up to par, and it's sort of like our defense that's getting us by, like it kind of has been most of the
Yeah.
season. I think we could very well see a change before the end of the season. I think our owners will probably say, look, EDC has us in win now mode. That is the Ravens. We are in win now mode. That's why we make all these moves, and it doesn't just come down to the players at the end of the day. Like you have to have guys who can execute, and you also have to have guys who can game plan, and that's going to be our coaching staff. And our coaching staff, if he's not getting it done that late into the season, after we've been talking about offensive struggles all season, I think we get rid of him, man. I really do.
I I have to agree with you. I mean, we've seen that DaCosta is kind of like I get like it's a business. I want to win. I'm
It's a
not here to
business,
make
yeah,
friends,
yeah,
and I like that about him really hard. And we
hmm
saw it last year when our linebackers weren't getting it done. He signs Josh Bynes, LJ Fort. When
yeah,
we need a corner, he gets Marcus Peters. And this year, we got Ngakwe. So I definitely think he'll make the change that we have to make it. So
yeah.
man, it's just we just have a lot of needs compared to what I've been used to as a Ravens fan. If you guys understand that.
You brought up a name that I've been thinking about lately. He already plays for the Ravens. It's LJ Fort. This is an LJ Fort YouTube channel stan account. LJ
Simple as
Fort
that.
is simple as that, man. LJ Fort is
Simple.
nasty, man. He's so physical. He stops the run, and we are missing him like no other. We really are.
And on special teams. If you call yourself a
Yeah,
football fan and you don't value a great special teamer, you are not a football fan. Because special teams, we
exactly.
have seen time and time again, they'll win games and they'll lose games. Simple as that.
Yeah,
That's why
absolutely.
I think Anthony
Um,
Levine, co-cap, is one of my favorite players because when we were missing him, our special teams just was not looking the same.
yeah. Speaking
And
of special teams, I just want to touch on this really quick. Um, Punt returning James Prochet is the guy that we normally have back there now. Do you like James Prochet returning the punts? Do you think that he's a little bit too safe? Do you think that, because he catches it like every time. His hands are immaculate, but
yeah,
he never seems to really get any wiggle or get loose like at all, really. So what do you think about James Prochet fielding the punts?
I saw he was like top
LJ Ford.
10 or top 5 in punt returning yards. I was surprised about that. I
Mm,
feel like Harbs was, since he's a special teams coach beforehand, he was like, he needs to get a guy who won't fumble the ball
yeah.
because we had these issues before when we had Janorian Grant. I know he fumbled. Cyrus Jones had his fumbling issues. So I feel like he just wants to save hands back there. Because ever since Jacoby Jones, we really haven't had, or Bobby Rainey, Michael Campanaro, yes, but they weren't the solution for multiple years. They were like a 1-year solution. So like he just wants to get safe
Right.
hands back there. But if we
Yeah.
wanted, I guess, some like speed, you would put Duvernay back there, Justice Hill. I don't know. But I definitely
Yeah.
see what you're saying, but I just think he wins.
Yeah, the safe hands thing, and that's why I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, like 90%, 95% of the time, you're not taking a punt back for a touchdown,
No.
or like getting like a big run or something like that. But as long as you have a guy back there who is going to catch the ball 9.9 times out of 10, that's what we definitely need. So I have
Unless
no
you're Devin
problems with it,
Hester.
but
Ravens
unless you're
legend,
Devin
Devin Hester.
Hester,
Ravens legend.
legend,
Man,
Ravens legend,
that one year he
man,
didn't do
yeah,
anything for us. I was.
nothing. He had like one return, didn't he?
He may have. I'm not
Can't.
too.
I think he did.
I'm not too sure.
Let's see. Wavy Meso says Terrell Suggs' son goes to his school. That's pretty dope. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. Zay King says, yes, our team needs to be nasty. That's one of the reasons Pittsburgh is a struggle to beat. They are rough play in and play out. The best tackle on the team is Deshaun Elliott, and we aren't aggressive enough. I agree, man. I think that a big reason why you didn't really see that aggressive Ravens defense last night is because those guys could barely even get their footing. It was raining cats and dogs outside. And that's just something that it impacts the football game. I know, all players have to deal with the rain, but that is something that it's a factor, man. It's a factor. But as long as we can we got to get in the postseason, get through the postseason. If we can play in the Super Bowl, it'll be in a dome, right? So,
Yeah.
oh no, this year it won't be in a dome, though, right?
Tampa, Raymond James,
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I forgot about that. No dome this year, so it could be a rainy Super Bowl. You never know.
The OG Ravens, he won Super Bowl 35 at Raymond James. Hey, you never.
Oh yeah.
All I'm saying.
That's right.
Why not run it back? Why not?
Yeah.
But speaking of Deshaun Elliott, this is a Deshaun Elliott stand account as well. He's been one of my favorite players since we drafted him, and he got flagged last night for one with the helmet. That was a BS call. That was a great tackle.
Definitely.
That was completely shoulder, and the fact he got fined for the hit on Jack Doyle against the Colts, that was BS as well. Clean hit with the shoulder.
Ooh. Speaking of BS, what did you think about that 4th and 1 Cam quarterback sneak?
When they moved the ball? When they moved the ball forward?
That was crazy, man. I didn't notice it until like afterwards. I think you retweeted something and I looked at the video and like the ref like
man, that I know when we played the Chiefs, I made a video on my main account and kind of just it was a bad call with the Chiefs game, but last night there were some calls, man. I'm gonna show the video. It's a short clip. I really don't think we should get copyrighted. So you can look at the ref with the ball. He moves it forward. He moves it forward, and I was like, really? Like, come on now. So that was a little bit of some BS there, but
definitely
I'm not going to blame it on the refs.
Yeah, that's not an excuse. It's just like when you see something like that, it's like, come on, man. Because just watching it live, it didn't look like he got the first down.
No.
It looked like, forward progress should have been stopped, like, first of all, a little while ago, because he did get stood up and then he fell a couple inches forward, but I still don't think it was enough to get there. But apparently they gave it to him, so, it is what it is. And then I got KLA Sports. Shout out to you, man. He says, Bill Belichick did a rain dance at the half to get that monsoon on our last drive. Boy. And we'll listen. We'll kind of wrap up the whole Ravens versus Patriots review thing with this here. But, man, that last drive, it was laughable, man. It was laughable. Our guys, like, it was 1 minute and 5 seconds left. We're down 6 points. I was like, okay, we have a chance. We can do this. You know what I mean? I know it's been raining all game, but I think we actually have a chance to go down the field and, score some points, score a touchdown. We were just 3 hours removed from Kyler Murray doing it, earlier that day.
With 30 seconds
I had
left.
hope. I had faith. With 30 seconds left, even less time. So I had faith. But as soon as our players took the field, that storm just turned all the way up. Like, it was just like you couldn't even see. Like, I'm sitting at home watching on my nice big 4K TV, and I can't even see the players on the field. Ooh. Yeah, I got a 4K TV. Pay a lot of money for it. You
could see the crisp for the water. You could see each drop coming down.
The droplets. I see the droplets on the lens, on the camera lens. I can't even see the players. I could barely make out what was going on. I was like, did J.K. Dobbins drop that, or was that, Patrick Ricard? I don't know. It's just like, bro, it's stupid, man. It was super unfortunate, but
I, I
I'm
feel
not
like
blaming that either. So.
no, I like feel like when I watch some of these games, there's those games where like it feels like it's a really bad dream. One of them I could say is the
Yeah,
Titans, the playoff game last year. It was such
yeah,
a beautiful day in Baltimore. It's like 60 degrees in January. I'm like, oh man, like okay, it's nice out.
yeah,
We're gonna, we're gonna beat the Titans, and
yeah.
then it's
Big
like,
trust.
am I sleeping right now, or is like, is this really
Like,
happening?
come on,
And
man.
and then last night, it was windy and I think it was windy and raining. I heard the wind outside my room. I'm like, I got to be dreaming now because I see it and I'm like, is there like a tornado, like hurricane on my TV, like with the Ravens game? It was
It
one of
was
the games.
crazy, man. It was surreal. Like, you can even just look at like you could look at the players, like look at their jerseys. They were soaked, like
Yeah,
drenched. Like there's like rain, and then there's that kind of rain,
yeah,
where it's
that
like you
was
can just tell like their jerseys are just fully saturated with just water, just straight water. So I can
yeah,
only imagine like playing in those conditions. I've played football before, like back when I was like a kid, but never in conditions like
yeah.
that. Like that's
No,
ridiculous. I was surprised that at the half they didn't like postpone the game or like call it all. I don't
right.
know, or something, because it just didn't really seem like they should have been playing football in that weather. And that's crazy because earlier that day they postponed
Yes,
the Browns versus Texans game for that same storm. It just ended
I
up
was gonna
coming
bring
up a
that
little
to
bit up
you.
north. Yeah.
And they were
So
talking about that too. They're like, this is the same storm that we saw in the Browns game. Like, okay, there was lightning in that storm, and it's like if it's within an 8 mile radius, they got to like call out the game or just a delay.
yeah,
I guess there wasn't no lightning last night. It was just a weird game all
yeah,
around.
yeah. Definitely very, very weird. But we are about an hour and 20 minutes in, so we're gonna talk about just we're gonna talk a little bit, review our fantasy week. We can talk about how we
Yeah,
did in
chime one
fantasy.
in. I want to hear everybody. I want to hear who you
Yeah,
have, who
who
was a
you
dud
guys
this week.
have?
Tell
How
me.
was your fantasy team? Yeah, how did you guys fantasy team do this week? I know in the last episode we talked about who we have on our fantasy team, and my fantasy team is in a dogfight right now.
Okay, let's hear
So
about it.
so so yeah. So here's the score. The score is 102 to 101,
Ooh,
and both of us have one player left to play. Now, she has now, because it's a woman. It's actually my friend Ashley. Shout out to her. She has Allen Robinson playing,
okay.
and I have Dalvin Cook. So needless to say, I probably should win. You know what I mean?
You
I'm up
should
1 point. As long as Allen Robinson doesn't have like a two
break.
touchdown, 195 yards receiving game or something, something
Yeah,
crazy like that, then I should be okay. But players that really like stunk it up for me this week, Leonard Fournette. Oh my gosh! Like
yeah.
if you're a Bucks fan, what are you guys doing with Leonard Fournette? Please let me know, because it seems like every time I turn around, or every time I turn the Bucks on TV, Ronald Jones is fumbling or doing something bad, and then they don't give Leonard Fournette the ball, and then they let Ronald Jones have like a 100-yard run, like a
98
98-yard
yard
run.
touchdown. Yep.
I was so mad watching that, bro. But he really stunk it up for me. Another player who did very bad for me was Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham was
Mm,
terrible for me. Like, I guess since the Eagles are somewhat healthy again with Jalen Reagor and Alshon Jeffrey and all those boys, I guess Fulgham's not going to be getting a lot of the targets anymore. So I guess I have to move off from him. And then the last player who really did me dirty this week was Mike Davis. Mike Davis, I
wow.
thought that since Christian McCaffrey wasn't playing, that they would give Mike Davis the ball more, but apparently in Carolina they love Curtis Samuel more than anything in the world. So,
They do.
yeah, we'll see
They do.
about that. But how did your fantasy team do though?
So I'm in two leagues. My one league, I won it easily. Shout out to Josh Allen. My other league,
Hmm.
I am in a once again a dogfight.
Yeah,
I am winning 99 to 97.
yeah.
We both have one player. I have Darrell Mooney tonight, and he has the Minnesota defense. So
Mm,
as long as Mooney can get maybe 4 to 5 catches, what a touchdown wouldn't hurt. And as long as Minnesota's defense doesn't just pressure Nick Foles too much, I should win it. I'm
yeah,
not confident, but I'm already out in this league. I'm kind of focusing on my other league, which I won easily in. But I'm about to come into a dogfight in that league, which I would next week we can talk about it because it's getting to the crunch time in fantasy.
yeah. It is getting crunch time in fantasy. I got KLA Sports. He says Justin Herbert and Devontae Adams carry my team, but Miles Sanders and Antonio Gibson won me the game this week against the number one team, and he blew them out too. So shout out to you, man. Like, it sounds like a very good W. Justin Herbert, I have him on my fantasy team as well. He's been pretty good. He kind of had pedestrian numbers yesterday. I think he had like 22 points or something like that, but he threw a touchdown to Keenan Allen late. And I also have Keenan Allen, so I definitely love that. But
double dip. There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm seeing right now, Antonio Gibson had himself a game yesterday. So actually, I'm going to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
The Washington football team and the Lions. Alex Smith put on a great comeback show. Great. Mm-hmm. They were down like 24-3. They come back, and then the Lions drive down a penalty by Chase Young. I mean, he's young. Really can't get mad at him. Second overall pick. And they kick a field goal. But the fight they showed, I definitely think, I mean, the way that NFC East is, it's anybody's division. It really is.
It is.
So, man, that game was, because it was on locally for me, because there was nothing on CBS for like the early games because of the Masters. Yeah. But that was, I mean, I was like, Lions, Washington, but it was a good game. I was pretty happy it was on one of the few close games of this past week, so I wasn't too mad at that. But yeah, Gibson, he's a stud, definitely a stud.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. How about we talk about a little bit of Monday Night Football, shall we?
Let's go for it. Nice little NFC North battle tonight.
NFC North battle. We've got the Bears and the Vikings. Now, I'm obviously rooting for the Vikings, i.e. Dalvin Cook, because like I just said, he's on my fantasy team, and I really need him to, like, you know, at least put up something. Just real quick before we really get into the Monday Night Football, Kyle says at the last second, he said he has Kyler, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, DK Metcalf, Johnson. Who's Johnson?
Deontay Johnson from the Steelers.
Deontay Johnson. Okay, yeah, right. Amari Cooper and Chase Claypool. That sounds like a pretty solid team, man.
Hey, Kyle, I'll see you next week. We'll see. I play him next week. So.
Oh.
Yeah, he's actually ahead of me right now in the playoff wise. I gotta win out to get in. So, and of course, Josh Allen is on a bye next week. So.
Oh, that sucks.
That hurts. Hurts.
Who's your backup?
I got Joey Burrow because he plays the Washington football team, but I got my eyes on a few other quarterbacks. I see Danny Dimes put up 22 points this past week. Tua really hasn't done that much. I'm waiting to see what Foles will do. I really am, and then maybe Drew Lock, but he didn't have a good game. It's hard to come across a good quarterback fantasy-wise.
You might have to go with Burrow, bro. I mean, I think if Joe Mixon doesn't start again, they're going to put the ball into Burrow's hands like they have been doing all season. That's why he's top 10 in passing yards as a rookie. You know, I think that he's a good choice to go with if you just need to stream him for a week.
Yeah, I mean, he put up 33 against Cleveland a few weeks ago. So I think I might have to.
Yeah. But Kyle, that is a very, very good team you have there. Kyler Murray, Alvin Kamara, and Chubb. Just those three guys up front is just monumental for you. And I know Nick Chubb had a pretty good game, first game back yesterday. DK Metcalf and Deontay Johnson. You got two number one receivers there. You've also got Claypool as well. I don't really know how I feel about having Deontay Johnson and Claypool. I feel like they probably take away from one another. But Amari Cooper as well. That's, you know, Dallas, any Dallas player. I have CeeDee Lamb. Like, any Dallas player at this point is just like, you know, you really just don't know what you're getting. So
really weird.
Yep. But that is fantasy talk. Listen, whenever we do fantasy talk, we really want you guys to go ahead and, you know, just put down your fantasy situations. If you have any questions about it, you know, you need some advice or just a second opinion on anything like that, you know, we'd be glad to like help you guys out. And we both.
Not even, I mean, everybody in the chat too. I mean,
everyone. Yeah.
I know. You guys, I'm not the best with fantasy. I know you guys probably got to know more than me, but just hearing, because you guys help me out. I'll need every piece of help I can get. So
yeah. So let's see. So the Monday Night Football matchup, we've got the Vikings versus the Bears.
Yes.
Who do you think wins?
Wow, where is it? Does that even matter where it's being played? In Chicago. Okay. Oh no, it's in Minnesota. No, Chicago. Yeah, it's in Chicago. Soldier Field. Wow. My thing is Kirk Cousins is very inconsistent, but I love Justin Jefferson. I love when he scores and hits the gritty. That's like
Yeah.
that's like the celebration this year. Wow, this is a hard one because the Bears just played the Saints. They took them to the wire in
To the
overtime a
wire,
few weeks
yeah.
ago.
Hmm.
Wow, but Dalvin Cook's the best running back in the league right now. No
Yeah,
debate. No
easily.
debate. Wow.
I've got Minnesota, man. I do. Like, I feel like
I
they
guess
established the running game early and often. You know, Dalvin Cook gets going, and that's just the story of the game, you know?
you know what? I'll have to agree with you because the Bears, Matt Nagy is not calling the plays anymore, so it's their first game with a new play caller, and David
Hmm.
Montgomery is out.
Didn't know
So
that.
I'll go with the Vikings. I'll go with the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Dalvin Cook's the best running back in football. Kirk Cousins, when he's on, he can really be on. Like, he
Yeah.
can really be that dude. And he's got weapons. He's got weapons, man. And their receiving core is healthy, right? Thielen's not hurt, right?
Mm-mm.
Thielen, you've got Justin Jefferson, the rookie. You've also got
Kyle Rudolph. I know he's still there.
Rudolph. Yeah, like, man, I'm telling you, they will be okay. They will be okay. I feel like they need, you know, a couple more pieces there in Minnesota, and I think they'll be fine. But yeah. Let's see. I think that might do it for us. This episode 3 of the Purple Rain podcast. If you're watching this still live, you've been watching the whole time, or if you just joined, we love you all the same. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about it.
Tell your family.
Yeah, tell your fam. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a family member to tell a family member. Tell the mailman. Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So we have more coming for you guys here on the Purple Rain podcast. You know, me and Alex, we've been, you know, discussing things. We're gonna make this as enjoyable as humanly possible for you guys, for our Ravens fans, for our NFL fans. You know, it's for people who like good sports talk, good talk about other stuff as well. If you guys have any like recommendations on other stuff you would like to hear us talk about, well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be about sports, you know, but yeah, you guys can just hit us up, let us know about that. But just closing us out here, I am Sutton Def. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. Follow me on all of those. And then we also got my guy Alex.
Follow me. You can follow me on them. Hit me up on YouTube, simply AS10. And yeah, I mean, any sport. I'm wearing a soccer kit right now. I mean, I'm down to talk anything. So just bring it on. I know we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Leave your comments, leave your concerns, and if you're watching this after the fact, let us know. Let us know you're watching after and what you want to see.
What you guys want to see, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys. And, you know, I think that, you know, the Ravens community is a beautiful community. I love it so much. Like, everybody is so supportive of one another. You know, and everyone just loves to talk Ravens. And, you know, we're a very humble fan base, I feel like. So I think that, you know, we're going to continue to put out content for you guys, and we would love to hear you guys' feedback on what you would like to see. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. We'll catch you guys on Thursday.
Yeah.
Catch you guys on Thursday. Previewing that Titans game, man. We're going to talk a little bit, a lot of Derrick Henry action, a lot of defensive line talk.
Oh, man. And let's hope for the best news injury-wise, like on the Ravens front. Hopefully people will be back at practice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow.
So, yeah, guys, we'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been real. It's Purple Rain Podcast, episode 3. We are signing off. Catch you on Thursday.